our next job, we are moving developer as morning. At the end, there's a models, notebooks, and all that. So let's go down to building a life as a developer. Now we'll be bringing on stage someone that is in and out of the developer's field. It's not really about development. It's about marketing, digital marketing. It's about ensuring that youth grow. It's the founder of All Energy. He's a business analyst, the CEO of UP, the CEO of UP agency. I mean, most of people know him as UP. And we'll be bringing to you Mr. Song Emmanuel.
Based on the conversation we've been having so far. Let's talk AI. Will AI take your job? Well, it depends what your job is. I'd like to categorize the jobs into two categories, okay? The first category is the job that you do your muscles to do. The next category is the job that you use your brain to do. If you're doing a job and you're using your muscle, AI will take your job. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. To reiterate on what the speakers have been saying, if AI, the urge in which, or the era in which we are, unless we go into the agentic era, what's the agentic era? An era of AI, where AI is able to do stuff without a prompt. Right now, you want to build something, you need to tell AI that, okay, I want to build this thing. And it goes ahead and builds it. An AI thing, yes, only if you ask it to think. If you just say do stuff, you're going to do it without thinking. Tell it to think, behave as though this is prompt engineering, behave as if you are a DevOps engineer. Yes, you don't even need a DevOps engineer. You do so, it knows how DevOps engineers behave. Behave as if you are a mobile dev, you do so, as though you are a mobile, just think only based on the inputs that you give. But until we get to the era of agentic AI, which is probably just a few years or months, whatever the case, then the narrative will change. Everything is going to change about it. So if you are looking to have a job, and this job is based on using your muscles, it's a matter of time. Okay, beyond the classroom, building the life of a developer. So when I was asked to give a talk, I was thinking we have a lot of developers here, seniors, and so on. What can I do differently? What is going to be the difference? And I've been in the community for quite long to identify some issues. And most of the times we concentrate on healing. And this conversation, this talk that I'm having right now, could have been much more valuable 2 years ago, but now the value could have been less valuable maybe 2 years ago because maybe building was still a good aspect of the job. But now with the presence of AI is coming. AI is capable of doing a lot of things. Are you going to concentrate only on what is being taught in the classroom? Or are you going to go out of the narrative of your classroom? Let's see what will happen in the next slide, please. So the life of the developer right now, most of us as students still starting up. The temptation is that you concentrate on your book work, you concentrate on everything that they teach you in school, you concentrate on developing your skills, how to code. Most of us are going to be coders here, whatever the case. But there's this misconception that you will notice only when you're graduated, you have your degree and you're in the job market, or if you're a startup or an entrepreneur, start realizing some things that are very, very much different. And then you ask yourself this question, okay, you are a professional, you are educated, you've been in school for this period of time. How come you're experiencing this type of things? What is the difference between you that have gone to school and you're starting up a startup and the problems, the things that you encounter is still very, very real and you have nothing about it? There are some things that unless you're told today, or unless someone tells you about it, you're not really realizing until you get to the business world, out of the classroom. And it is very vital, especially for those who are starting their career right now. You should go ahead and take into consideration these things. Balance, good. I'm thinking of this word while we're talking. Even if I go back to this slide, they mentioned something about balance, one of the speakers, and I personally believe that we have no such thing as balance. You might agree with me or disagree at some point, you will still change your mind and agree. So we have phases, different phases of everything. Different phases of everything. We cannot expect to have balance. Typical example, the balance of the dry season and balance of the rainy season. It does not work that way. It's a season for something. There's a season where you are in learning phase. There's a season where once you're done learning, you're in the work phase. You need to ensure that the learning process is not as severe again as the work process. So most people get into jobs and then they find out that they're doing a lot of learning, and that's why you really get overwhelmed. You have to still learn about everything as though you're starting and you're still trying to work. There's no balance. At each point in your life, there's going to be one aspect that is way above the other aspect, and that is how life is supposed to be. Let's get looking for balance. Code, I'm here to tell you all today, especially those who are starting, code is not enough. We have great coders in our ecosystem, but we don't have enough creators. This is the case of the Bamida community today. We don't have enough collaborators, we don't have enough change makers. Look at the number of people who are in this room. We're having DevFest over and over and over. Now you can literally count. Someone tried to help us to count in some areas like to see a few counts in that room. But under normal circumstances, a community like this, a community with such exposure, should not even attempt to want to count. Why is that? Because everyone should be a change maker. Everyone should be effective in the things that they know somehow in their own aspects, their own areas, their own career path, and so on. What is the point of knowing any programming language like Java? Knowing all of that, and you cannot even use one. You cannot even use one to change your life, including even your own. Let's see what we're on the next slide, please. Now the story today is the classroom we are being taught to code. And the reason why you're coding is you want to have the lecturer validate something, okay? But in the real world, you need to start writing codes that will be used somehow, even by people. In the classroom, most of the time you work alone. Now these are some key things that you get to notice. They have some very, very good coders that will do stuff alone, but when you bring them within a team, it's a catastrophe. In the real world, you have to work as a team. The classroom you're going to be focusing on projects. You have this project that you up to today, people are still working on projects. In the real world, we're working on products, we're focusing on the product. So most of the time, the classroom will be looking to seek the person who is paying your school fees, right? You seek to impress the people and all sorts of people, but in the real world, that is not even your objective. Someone asked if is money enough for the only reason why you choose a career path? My answer is yes. Why? Because there's supposed to be balance. Come on, think about it. There must be balance. So you can have passion in doing something, and this thing does not give you money. And then you have passion in doing, or you just have passion in doing another thing that gives you money. What do? There is the building phase. There's a phase in which you get the money first, and once you've gotten it, then you go for your passion. If you think otherwise, anyways, you will tell the story somehow. In the real world, you don't want to impact anybody. You don't want to impress anybody. You want to go for that which you want. And what everybody wants in this world, I can summarize it into 5 words. So 5 letters, M-O-N-E-Y. It's 5 letters, right? Or 6 letters, 6 letters. What's the plural of money? Money. Okay, more money. There must be a phase in which you are working. There must be a phase in which you are learning. Then will be different. And don't try to balance the two. Don't get a job and still trying to balance learning and working. No. While you're going to school, yes, that's the learning process. Don't also eliminate the possibility of even working while you're going to school. I'll talk about this in a moment. Let's see what happens next slide. At some point, you might have to skip another slide. The classroom teaches you how to code. The world teaches you how to build. Remember this. These are two independent and two separate things. They cannot be a balance in these two. Let's see what we have. Okay, skip this one. So we have talented coders, a lot of talented people. This is one thing that I realized, even why I was doing. So I'm someone who I'm very reserved. I have a belief that, I don't know if you believe this, I have a belief that the human mind, just like any hard drive, has a capacity and has a limit. And you cannot really control what you can do. And have you tried to forget? A lot of people try to forget about their problems. They cannot really forget them. You cannot really control what you can see. But I can tell you that you can control what you can do. And that is why, even while I was in my building process, I was reserved the things that I was learning. I was not learning Angola. And I will not ever learn it. That is for me. I'm not going to that there are a lot of things, and this is my belief also. Because at some point in time, believe it or not, you're going to hit the maximum capacity of your hard drive. What do you do here? Are you going to break down? So you might think otherwise, this is my belief and this is my driving force. So we have a lot of people who can do a lot of things. I know people here that can be a team. There can be a whole team of 20 people on their own. And they do it very well. This is something that is shocking. They always say jack of all trades, master, but there are some people here. Anyways, there's a good reason why their name is not jack. We have their communities. How many people are in this hall here today? Not have access to such resources. So you should be guessing that because we are in a privileged position, even more than these things, we are supposed to strive, right? We are supposed to have a lot of change makers, we are supposed to have a lot of solutions, a lot of things happening. But not just supposed to be booming when it comes to tech, just as it comes to some other things. Although we have all of these things, your expectation is false. We still have very few war products. When I say war products, I'm not talking about the one that they have on Meetup, okay? I'm talking about the one in which you have users, people who are actually using it and it's helping them somehow. We don't have that. We still have very few paid communities. The sad truth right now, that is very few paid opportunities held out. The sad truth now, that is most of the absolute good guys. They'll have to either here today, then they travel in either from Yaoundé, either from Douala or so, and this is the problem. We do not have paid opportunities. But now, if you are a developer here, you can confidently tell me that it's not been a problem that you go through a series of depression, a series of burnout, a series of frustration. Don't put your hand up. Do you get the question? Someone is guilty. Someone is very. Even if you're not expressing, you might not say it right now, but I know that they see that frustration of burnout. You don't know what it means to want to solve the problem and you spend over 50 hours straight. 50 hours on this and nothing is happening and somebody is greeting you. Why are you greeting me? You get the point. And this is the case in which a lot of developers face. You've not even gotten up to this point yet, and I'll tell you that you've not started your career. And I'll tell you that live coding does not even save you. You've not faced a challenge where AI is telling you that your code is working and it's not working. Tell that everything is fine and it's not fine. And then you see that now maybe you need to restart your server, so you restart and you try again, it's not working. You're telling me that there's something here and just stop. I don't know if you've experienced this before, but those who do vibe coding also. And the reason why the people, AI will not take the job of the guys who use their brains and not their bodies is because AI still needs someone to review. Just like everyone said, someone still needs to review the code. If you feel that you can just go get into AI and do anything, try and see. Don't try and see. Then the case with the person who got back to me without the proper knowledge. So the best vibe coders, or the best people who use AI for can get into coding. Once you find an error, that is going to be the stop point for you. This is a sad thing about Amanda. Let's see what happens in the next slide. It is not a talent problem, that is for sure. It's a direction problem. I'm here today to give you a little bit of direction. And the direction is understand that there are phases to everything. There's a building phase as well as there's a work phase. For those who are yet going to school, although you have to, so the issue about balance is most of the time it's never 100% and 0%. Most of the time priority takes into place because you're studying that should give you the 100% of everything. Now what are the other areas that is you're not especially getting from school can you focus on? Even while you study, even while I was studying, there's some people that you very well that is not going to help me at all. And was progressing my life somehow. How physics for engineers helped me also. I knew this and it gave me some perspective. So what would I do? There is very more power. Although you want to get the result, okay? I'll tell you right now, you're a student, it's very, very easy to pass the exams. You can pass without even knowing anything. You just need to know how to properly prepare for an exam. You need to know the lecturer and you can anticipate everything. Focus the energy to build this. Right now, as a student, you should know that okay, this is what I want to do. This is the tech stack that I want to choose. That way you define your time and you do everything based on the numbers. Spend this amount of time in this because it's more important and so on. Okay? Direction is very important. Let's see what happens on the next slide. What it takes to build the life of the developer, not the life of the sustainable developer's life. I will just run through all of this work that skills, master your craft. Although we have skills in Bangladesh, we have a lot of people who, at the end of the day, talk for the cheerleading for tech. You can just talk. At the end of the day, when you give you the keyboard, you are able to actually do stuff. Build skills, very important. Network. I always advise people, if you have any event, go there. When you go there, your objective is not only to listen to me. The objective is to see and understand how people do things. To talk to someone, build a relationship. Very important. Have a purpose. Do you have a reason why you came here today? You're supposed to be determined about it. And then you're supposed to have a balance. Let's go to the second to the last slide. The last thing that I'll talk about, even before I come down the stage, is one misconception. Is it the second to the last? Yeah. You can go back there. One misconception. So once you're done from school, you're going to realize things that matter. What do you think right now that matters? Do not really even matter. Right now, I'll just do like a quick example. Who here has a tech job? Who here anybody please just raise your hand? Okay, we're all asking for this. Okay, who here has ever had a tech job? And I'll just ask you one question. Okay, Roy is the only person who will know. I know a couple of people that have tech jobs and they are raising their hand. I'll ask you a question, yes or no. Why you got the job? They ask you for a certificate, yes or no? No. No. That is the truth, especially if you're in the tech field. Do not concentrate so much about only what you study in school, about it. It does not matter in real life. So things are changing really fast. The way people get jobs, the way people get opportunities. Your skills does not matter, your grade in the computer does not matter in real life, not at all. When you come to this realization, then you start to dedicate more time to the things that matter. And what is that? That is the skill. So the tech ecosystem right now, or generally the business fair and business analyst, by the way, we are very, very determined. We do not waste time. We cannot waste resources. We do not care about what you know. We just care about what you can do that will help us. And if you can do it without your skills, you do not really care, you're going to get the job also. So take it as a call to action. Why you work, even with your education, you know what you need to do to make this balance. Please go to the second to last one. Go beyond, go into the power. Community like this gives you your purpose. beyond the classroom, that is where they will, that is where you will develop there, beyond your classroom. Thank you very much. My name is Emmanuel. I am a software engineer. I am a business analyst and software architect. I'm a digital marketer, and I am a lot of things that I can name to you right now. And this is because there was no direction. There were some things that I could focus on. Now we have a direction. Before you continue going to school and doing what you are doing, okay, ask yourself this question: is this what you need? Is this what you need? And focus on the things that you want.
Always find something doing, and it's important that we have
progress. Yet, we seek refuge in the clouds. We rest our heads in the clouds. We are not just leaders of tomorrow. We are leaders of today. And as leaders of today, we say, hello world. Hello GDG Bamenda. Hello DevFest. Welcome to a world of endless possibilities where they will never see you as a liability. Welcome to a world of endless possibilities. Thank you.
Okay, please, I want that clap again. I want it again. Thank you very much, Marie. I'm sure we got a very relaxing poetry piece that has some truth in it that we might not speak of, but we know deep in our hearts that it exists. So, as we move forward, some of the words she said might be in your mind, even though we might not be bold enough to speak about it like she does, but we should be able to act on it such that we move past the circumstances that we face and lead on to progress. Not just as an individual, but as a community and as a country as a whole. And hopefully, maybe one day, just maybe, Cameroon might be what tell Africa where to go. Right now, we are going to move on into a short break where I want you to network. There are foods out there, vendors where you can eat, get something to eat, buy some stuff there. So there's a variety of stuff there, pastries, drinks, so you relax, you connect with people, our speakers, some of our sponsors, you get to know them, or your neighbor, you get to know your neighbor better. But before we go, I want to spotlight one of our sponsors, Kwa. How many of us know Kwa? Kwa. How many of us was it? Wait, if you're not having Kwa, please download Kwa. This is not only about saving, it's about learning how to manage your finances. From the little bit of 1,000 francs that you have, to be able to save up to tens of thousands without necessarily having to sweat to pay the bank account or something. It quite somehow trains us, I can say that, because at one point, if you're saving up for a particular goal and you're not reaching that goal, I mean, you pay me for them to cut their money when you do it before time, right? Even if it's 50, as long as you work for that money, you feel the pain. They're taking some of that money and it will push you to save more. So, I don't think there's a representative from Kwara. Okay, we have a representative for Kwara. Please come up and enlighten them more about Kwara. That's what the text of the so you know how they're interested in the community, then it's good.
Good day to everyone. I'm Cletus from Kwa, and I hope you're getting a wonderful job briefing you guys about Kwa. So, I'll just go by it again, a fintech that helps individuals to ensure financial discipline and take control of their money through simple and practical means. So, we all know saving isn't easy, life happens and surprising expenses. And also, it's not like most of us don't like saving, we don't want to save. There's a lot of system that guides us to motivate us and displays us to save. That's where it comes in. Kwa has a range of features from goals, challenge goals, group goals, to P2P and reserves and basics. We're focusing on basics. This is the feature that will help to address an issue faced more by making students here. So, like, my first year in university, I'll get my pocket allowance at the start of the month. And like I get about 10K. And the idea is that 10K should take me for the whole month. But the reality is before the 23rd or the 15th of the month, like almost all the money is finished. So you're not left with either borrowing from friends or looking for other means. But that's when Quabase comes in. Like you tell Quabase, it's like, okay, this is my pocket allowance, this 10K. I want you to give me 1,000 francs each day or 5,000 francs each month, depending on the frequency you decide. So basically, in core basics, you set up a budget, whether it's for transport, your handouts, or fees, or anything. Yeah, you set up a budget, you set up the amount you want to send to you, and you put your mobile money number that will send to you, and yeah, you can just handle it, depending on the frequency you set, whether it's daily, weekly, or monthly. So yeah, that's basically just it. And also, we have a business campaign coming up. Yeah, and the flyers will share. You guys can get more info about that. And also, we'll be looking for student ambassadors. So anyone who would be interested in something like that can meet us afterwards to get more information. And yeah, be sure to download the Qua app for those of you who don't have it and check it out. Yeah, but if like the first 10 users I'll get today, it's a surprise for you. Thank you for your time.
Please, if you're still contemplating whether you should have a diesel battery, money is lacking. In fact, saving up is hard. Use quad silver for that. And you see those outings that never leave the group chat, use quad silver for that outing. Ladies, that outing should not pass December. People should use quad silver for that outing. 1,000 a week, people can do it. If They either started without the community or by themselves, and they created the community where we are today. So it's important we get from them how things have been out there before now, and probably how it will look like in the future. So moving on, we'll be talking to us about building a global tech career from Canada. I mean, many of us believe Cameroon is too small. You want to go out there before you can make it. They built from Canada, and they are making it, and they are going around internationally and more. So we need people to please pay attention. Many of you are worried, AI take my job. How can I be better without AI? How can I be better with AI? How can I stand out with emerging technologies and so much more? They will advise us on that, and please, I want you to all pay attention. Moving ahead, I will invite our moderator of this panel session to carry on. We are having the Italian people taking up as the moderator of this session.
We're going to be moving to our panel session, and I'm really excited about it. I don't know about you, but I'm really excited because the tech ecosystem in Bamenda is at a crossroads. And if you're somebody that is observant, you know that we have come this far, but there is still so much that we have to achieve. And that is why we put together this panel session. These are the OGs. I mean, I feel honored in a way when I was asked to moderate this session, because these are not just coders, these are not just developers, but these are people that have met and created a map in the tech ecosystem, not just in Bamenda but in Cameroon. And so we are going to be learning from them, we are going to be getting their insights, we are going to be learning. And please, one of the things that I strongly stand for is practical. We don't want, the aspire to perspire to inspire folks. We want real things that can work. Who's with me? You watch maybe a video and all they talk is motivation, but then you don't see real things you can implement. So this panel session is meant to give you real tips that you can implement to grow in your tech career. So I'll just begin by introducing them. The first person that we are going to be calling up is Elroy Kanye. And Elroy Kanye is someone that has a consistent track record in the community, especially when it comes to doing big things and just being excellent overall in terms of skill. As I think one of the speakers presented you, he is called Java Man. He currently works with drifting decks, and he has worked with as a software engineer at Beza, which is a company based in Saudi Arabia. He's also the founder of Scholarbot, which is an application that enables schools to digitize their records and improve analytics. He's also one of the pioneers of GDG Bamenda, one of the key anchors of the community. So at this point, with a hand clap, I would like us to bring up Elroy Kanye. As a student developer, can guess? Who can guess? Yes. MLS. He did so as even as much as he's a successful computer engineer, his background is in medical science. Our next speaker is still going to baffle you more. Our next speaker is next person on our section is UN Eric, and UN Eric is one of the people that we really look up to when it comes to community service and someone who is given to the community. UN Eric was a mobile developer at Nero. How many of us know about Nero? How many of us know about Nero? Tell them that we are looking forward to sponsorship. So he worked as a software developer at Nero. He has also worked as a software as a mobile app developer at Ejara, which is an application an investment application. He also works as a lead community manager for 7 Dev communities, am I correct? And still, guess when he did his BSc? Guess when he did his BSc? What field? Guess. Industrial chemistry. When he is when he is successful, one of the most successful. In fact, last year, he was the sole Cameroonian to speak at the largest Flutter conference in Africa. That's the Flutter Vice Conference. So that tells you that this is not somebody who is joking. We are honored to have this here. Can we give a round of applause? That is a simple tip I've given. Ask questions that condense years of experience to a single response. So once again, thank you all so much for joining us on this panel session. So we are going to be discussing on building a global tech career from Bamenda. How many of us want to go global? How many of us want to make the dollar? The number of hands have increased. So all of us at the home, all of us generally as developers, we don't just want to live in Bamenda, doing one or two things. We want to be able to scale, and these people are the very evidence that you can build a global tech career from Bamenda. And I'll begin by asking a question, right? When I understood the concept of global tech career, I knew in 2 ways: money and impact. There is no other thing. When we talk about a global tech career, we talk about money and it's a simple question, but I know where I'm going. Let's start with error. Is there money in this game? For all of us.
I'm very sure we have a lot of stuff invested. My colleagues, money will come. Let's go get everything. Yes, there is. For my years of experience working, I have mostly I have been as an employee and I have been as a contractor. And I have realized that there is a lot of untapped coin in there. Now, the thing is, you need to be relevant, you need to be needed, you need to be important, and you need to be able to sustain that as the market changes, as the economy changes. Just about a year ago, I was getting a little bit irrelevant because I was not someone who had a lot of knowledge working with AI and DevOps. And when you get into that kind of situation, you realize that you have to start upskilling. So to answer your question, basically, there is money. And on a mango tree,
There are is it every tree that you can just stand under and stand down? There's a lot of work you have to do. There's a lot of skill you have to get. So yes, there is. But the question you should be asking yourself is, am I worth it? Thank you very much. Please come and come on the Alright, so I'm going to ask a semi-practical question, and this will go to Sherlock. In your years of working, so this is the first part. In your years of working as a dev, can you give us the number of figures, highest number of figures that enter your account at the moment? Not the amount, just the number of figures that enter your account. The number is the shock.
It's good enough money to buy PS5.
People need to understand what that means. He's not saying that the money is sufficient alone to buy PS5. It means he's able to afford a PS5. There is more that we are going to come to that, but I'd like to ask about you have built relevance over the years as a software engineer, not just in a single domain, but impact across different domains. What is that one thing that starting at your career, you decided to do that, looking back you said, okay, this was the decision that I made, and this has led to the impact or the growth that I have seen over the years?
Am I audible enough? Yeah. All right. Wow. Okay, that's it. So if I look back at everything, for those who have been with me since the beginning, like you said, you have been until my end. Yeah, I began working professionally since 2014 as a programmer, and kept growing in the field. The one thing I can say, I would tell any programmer that has helped me at least be able to pay my rent and buy drinks for my friends, yes, and run a team is ignoring the hype. That is the biggest thing I've been able to achieve as a software engineer that has helped my growth because this program.
All right. Is this it? Okay. So I would say ignoring the hype. For example, I've been through many bubbles. We began with the, well, it's not a bubble, but everything can turn into a bubble, and then it becomes like 2015, 2016, all my peers, there's only one thing they want to do, everybody wants to be a founder. And then the Facebook movie came out and made everything worse. Yes. So that I managed to go past without falling in the trap of being entangled in it. We left from there, the next hype came up, we began blockchain, and then it was Bitcoin. And blockchain is great, it's good, Bitcoin is awesome, but there was a hype. It's not, based on how you plan on using it, it's not impactful, I would say that. So I was able to ignore through that and focus on what exactly it is I believe I should be doing as a software engineer. And then finally now we are in another bubble, the AI bubble, and just as people are going to ignore this one and keep up. So I think that's the best thing I've done in my career as a software engineer, ignore the bubble as I come and go. Did I lose money in the process of ignoring the bubble? Yes. But have I built a substantial career even better than ever?
Thank you so much. The next question, give you your capital everywhere. Alright, the next question goes to Segment Eric. For your profile, it's obvious that you've been working years, helping people build a career in tech. What is that one mistake that you find many beginners do early on in their careers, and even now, especially now with like the AI model, what current mistakes do you see a lot of beginners in that might impact their journey to believing in global tech?
Thank you very much for that question. Good one. I think one of the biggest problems I've noticed about people that get into tech is trying to get a name, create a name for themselves, or be recognized in the world of tech without actually having a foundation. And this is a very big problem because you find people that hide themselves, that talk a lot, but do not have the skills. And if I were to recommend to anybody that's getting started in tech, I'd say focus on the foundation. And it's even worse now with AI because, you can just get on Firebase Studio and just prompt and write whatever there and just speak out something for you. And probably you don't even understand what you're doing. This is one of the limitations we now have people that, because most of the people that actually say they are vibe coders, especially people that, like, I have people that have actually tried this, they are not developers, they use tools like Lovable, but then they get to that point where they get prompt and prompt and prompt, or maybe they just get to one point where they ask questions that AI would not probably give them the answer they are looking for. And they actually don't know where to go to. And I think this is something that we should focus a little bit more, especially when it comes to community as well. Now, if you're getting into tech and you want to learn something, just start with the simple things, the fundamentals. In my journey, which was like transitioning, it was not so complicated for me because curiosity actually pushed me a lot. I was so curious about things. And I got to ask myself a lot of fundamental questions, like when we did Python, they'll say print hello world. But then everyone will just print hello world and say hello world and we're excited about it. But I asked myself, so I printed hello world, how is it helping me? Those kind of fundamental questions. You get to ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why does it work this way? And I think it's one of the biggest problems so far that I've noticed within the community.
So if you got what he said one of the problems that many beginners face or encounter or do in building a global tech career is not really the foundation. AI is here to facilitate, but it does not negate the foundation. No matter what you want to do, always go back to the foundation. The AI should build on the foundation of knowledge that you already have. Those who carry are now, let's go to technically. Let's ask about the next part, which is impact. Right? As a developer, many times, it appears that our work is just screen, computer, once in a while we go out and touch grass, we come back inside, and the cycle continues. How do you think that as developers or as engineers, how can we create impact? What are the different ways that we can create impact?
Okay, so before even answering this question, I want to think where the question is coming from and why the question is coming from. I'll say something and I will respond and tell me if that's satisfactory or I will respond. So my question is, why do you want to even create impact in the first place? As a developer, do you need to do that? Do you need to create impact? What do you want? What do you find? Most of the time, people are being moved by what they need. As a developer, you want to get money somehow, and the approach that you're using is different. Maybe you can be an employee, you can be a startup founder. Now, is your objective just the impact that you want to create, or is your objective making something for yourself? Now, how to create impact has to go away from the code. Nobody can really create impact when they are working just strictly on their product and they forget the other very fundamental, very important aspect, the users. Whatever you're doing is supposed to be used by somebody somehow, and the degree of impact can be measured by many factors, one of which would be the number of people who are actually using your store and the value that it brings to the life of the people. I'm just thinking, what if we ask our senior head, who's been in the field since 2014, before we came up with SMS borders and everything, what's your primary objective impact or something else? If we can respond before we.
Primarily was to pay the bills.
Pay bills. Thank you. I don't know if I've answered that question efficiently. Again, impact away from your code and focus on the people who will use whatever thing that you're doing.
Thank you very much. So if you got what it says it's focusing on the people on the other end. It's not just about coding, it's about thinking about the other people, the people whose life are going to be potentially changed by the impact of your application. For example, how many of us have used switches before to buy credit to anything, right? Before the era of switches, we woke up in the night, maybe to use Giga night, and we realized that it's not safe. We only have to wait till the next day. That was before even MTN came up. I think it impacted the way we live, and it has potentially led to easing the life of others. So thinking about the people on the other spectrum of whatever you're doing. Now I'll come now to Kanye, and you mentioned something when he was speaking, he spoke about the importance of being exceptional. My question is, what is the necessary level of sacrifice to become exceptional? And I ask this question because when we say this, right? There was a time when we were back at school because he was our mentor at school. And so he stayed, I think, if it's not 14 days, indoors, just coding. And that very year, he was the top GitHub contributor for Cameroon. I don't mean like contributions where you delete a comment and commit. Then you write the comments back and you commit again. No, I mean useful contributions. He was the top contributor on GitHub in Cameroon. So to reach that level of exceptionality, many people just see the results, but they don't see the sacrifice. So my question is, what is the necessary level of sacrifice to become global, right? It's easy to be a local champion in Namibia or maybe in Cameroon, you're known for one or two things. But what does it really take to become global, to become exceptional?
So, those GitHub contributions, they were, I was going crazy. I think it's a good thing that it stopped. Because, yeah, he was a top contributor, but there were a lot of things I was doing. I was putting my hands to a lot of things. So I want to first of all emphasize that does not actually show exceptionality. It just shows a lot of work done. The question now is if there was any output. But what I would like to say is, yes, the 14 days retreat, it happens sometimes. Exceptionality comes from you realizing that the life you're living, first of all, what are you doing? And what do you need to do? To become exceptional, what I had to do was take some time off for certain situations to master the foundation, you mentioned foundation, of what I was doing. Getting into my first year of university, there were a lot of hypes, like our senior said. I remember us having a Python hype, the local Python hype. Everybody wanted to know Python because it was the cheapest language. We had a Flutter hype. Everybody wanted to be an app developer. There is no problem with Python. There is no problem with Flutter development. There's a problem with how you are approaching it. So my foundation is Java. I also want to call me Java man. And there were some times when the 2 weeks time I spent alone was to learn specifically socket programming in Java. So I wanted to know exactly what goes on behind the scenes in Java. And it enables me to start from scratch to become more knowledgeable. So that when expressing myself in code and when
I know what I am saying, and I'm not just repeating what some guy on YouTube said. So, to be exceptional, it takes time, it takes dedication. Sometimes you have to cut off from social media. You also need to make sure that you sleep, because within that time I was sleeping. You need to stay alive. You need to eat good food. Don't drink too much beer. And you need to drink a lot of water. So to stay exceptional, you have to stay alive. Alright, thank you so much. Please, can we clap? The last round of questions. If you have your questions, please, you can write them down, or you can begin to pass it around for people to be able to ask their questions. So now I'll be asking wisdom once again. You now you're no longer delivering or employing, but now you're overseeing other employees, right? What are the key things that you look for in a person, right? Who maybe is not maybe they are coming in for a role, or maybe somebody that you're just that wants to follow up, right? What are the key things that you look for in a person, and this instinctively tells you that this person will become exceptional, or this person will have a global template. What are those people? Let me put it now into perspective. What are those things that you think as developers, attitudes that we have to cultivate as developers to build a global template?
Talk before talking.
What is that?
Alright. So if you talk before, you notice that in the classroom, if you ask students what is a book, you're going to have a lot of definitions of book. In fact, tell people to point a book. Somebody is going to point the ceiling and tell you it's a book. That actually means that people have different ways of thinking. And when you are in a team, everybody will not think the same way you think. And in as much as you are unique, you have to bring your own knowledge or your own contribution to the table. And sadly, a lot of developers focus a lot on let me code this, let me do this, and maybe they don't share relations or they don't create connections with other people. And it's a recommendation to anybody that is saying if you're hoping to be a developer, I encourage you that you make friends even with people that are not even developers, because it gives you maybe another perspective. Like even if you're building a personal project, you then think of like, if it were this other person, how would they look at this solution? Another thing is the light of team spirit. Personally, the first gig I ever had was actually digital marketing student that recommended me. So I was just in school and she was also studying. But then I got to know her, we got to exchange, and she actually knew what I was passionate about and what I was interested in. So when she had a project that aligned with what I'm interested in, she did a recommendation, and that's how I got the book. So it's a very good recommendation to anyone if you're hoping to build a career. Think about things. What valuable contributions are you bringing? And for you to reach that point where you're bringing valuable contributions, you need to first of all be this person that think about these complex problems in such a way that you bring something to the table. Now, what distinguishes a lot of engineers that work for the fast companies like Google is everybody has a sizable contribution that they are bringing to the table. And they don't just focus on what contribution I'm bringing, they are thinking of the team as a whole. And this is very fundamental when it comes to development. I think the last thing that I'd like to talk about when it comes to being a developer that stands out is the aspect of contributions to open source. And this is really what separates like developers. Someone might ask you, send me your GitHub link, and you're like, I have 500 projects on my GitHub link, I have 3,000 contribution in the last 2 years, or well, this could be good, but what is the value of that contribution? So we have a lot of open source projects. We have people within this community that have actually released or they have open source projects out there. What are you doing about it? Because this is what is going to set you apart
from other developers. Other people are just focused on, let me do this thing, let me do this, but the contributions you are bringing, not just to yourself, but to the community as a whole, is very important. I really value open source a lot. I really value it, and I think if you're hoping to grow, there are different repositories that, like, I remember we had one Hacktoberfest when you could do for Hacktoberfest, you just open a read file and write your name on it, right? But that's somewhere you can start from, and from there you can start contributing to other projects that are getting difficult, and we think that it actually gives you the opportunity to work with other people too and learn from other people as well.
Thank you so much. We are left with I would just like to add something. Some of us in the audience, there are some of us in the audience who they have might not have background tech, and they are asking themselves, how do I move from the point where I didn't know anything? Maybe they think they have been explaining and clueless, I don't even know where to start, I'm confused. How do I move from there to the point where I can say yes, I'm able to build a solid career? What is your opinion? How does someone move from that point?
We have a community called Omnigy. I think the logo is behind me right now. And the fastest way to do anything, not just generally anything, is to have a mentor. Have someone who will tell you that, okay, this is what you need to do. Also, rather than going through the dilemma that most of us have gone through, having to identify exactly which aspect of tech do you want. It's too broad. It's super broad, and you cannot do all of these things. Which one can't you do? There's some things that you can't do. I was telling someone a few minutes ago that if this pattern is difficult for you now, you stop it and then you go to it.
The tech field is too broad. If you have a mentor
that can tell you that, okay, this is the thing that based on the type of person who you are, this is what you excel in. And tech is not limited only, I think there are people who are not from the tech background, not limited only to if you do computer engineering. No. Even if you have just a phone, you can even start doing something with just your phone. Even if, so far as you're enthusiastic, irrespective of what you do, there's an application to tech that you can do through technology and get mentor. We have a beautiful community. I said this earlier on, Bermuda is the biggest community that supports the growth of younger ones. Check anywhere. You have a lot of welcome to anybody who is into the position. And if this person refuses to help you, you put your name. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And last question to Kanye. You have spoken consistently about minority high. My question is about how do you stay focused on people? How do you ignore all, because then you hear today like it's a problem a lot of us have faced, right? You hear that design is the two stops they go to design. You hear sometimes the two stops they go to. And then if you upload LinkedIn, I am happy to announce, I am flabbergasted to announce, I am inspired to announce, and all of those things, there's a lot of pressure, and all of us can agree that the pressure sometimes is really so. And this all of this, how do you keep focused on the goal, right? Creating impact, building a career that has a solid foundation. I think that was the last question.
That's it. So I'm going to reference what Wisdom said. Thinking of hard problems. I'll give from my own experience. I wanted to solve problems, and I wanted to have something that best fits the solution that I would like to achieve. So it's like wanting to cook a pot of rice and then buying yams. It doesn't really make sense, right? You have to stick to what would be really necessary for them. At the time I was doing job, I thought like I wanted to solve the problem of a certain world problem I solved. No. The problem I wanted to solve was a lack of understanding of object-oriented problem in my head. That was my problem I wanted to solve.
and I have to do a lot of research. What would be the best path for me to follow? If you're in tech and you're still learning, or you're still refining and tuning your skills, it's important for you to know what path you have to follow. It's also important for you to know where your limits are, in which domain. My friend Saul said, your brain has a limit. Yes, it's almost infinitely capable, but it does have limits to what you can store by a certain amount of time. And there are some things you cannot do. Like he said, someone has a problem with backend. You realize these things while you study. You realize these things while you work. There are just some things that you will not get through. And it's not a problem with you. It's not a problem with that thing either. It's just a problem with the drive that you have. What motivates you? What pushes you? What is your goal? What do you want to do? If you don't have any interest in it, there is no way that you are going to last long in that thing. And as humans, this is one thing we all share. If there is not something we are looking for somewhere, there is no reason for you to go there. And that's why when someone comes and tells you a problem, like at 1 a.m., thieves attack me on the road, the first question you ask them is, what were you doing there? Isn't it? So don't find yourself in situations where you're going to be stopped, you're going to be shocked at what position you found yourself in. Don't look at the hype. Don't follow the hype. Stick to it. Don't listen to friends on peer pressure. Listen to your mentor. And if you have met someone who you want to follow you up, and they are not willing to help you out with that, bring the name. And while you are with that person, I am very sure I can attest that the people that I have met, the people I have been with, studied with, worked with, they are able to guide you on what you need to know. And as he said, Bamenda Tech Community is one of the highest communities in supporting younger developers, students, people who are interested in tech. That's true. So in everything that you want to know, someone always be there to guide you. Your peers will be there to guide you. But it's also your job to stick to a focus, stick to a path. And no matter what someone says to you, remain on that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A hand of applause. Get 3 questions from we're going to get 3 questions from the audience. If you have a question, please. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Please raise your hands again. Okay, having another. Please, not 2 in 1 question. Yeah. Alright, so we'll just see how it goes.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I really enjoyed the panel. I don't know if you guys have planned the dress code, like everybody at the panel is planned, but I love it. So I have a question, and it goes to Mr. Eric and Mr. Emmanuel, because I see they left from a different field and now they're in tech. So what would you advise somebody who is leaving from a no-tech related field or background, who wants to start something in tech, and they're already, let's say, if they're already in school, let's say year 1, year 2, you advise them to stop and take a U-turn, or you advise them to complete the program before they actually start indulging in tech? Which of them? Is it that your MLS is helping you now, or chemistry is helping you now in tech, or is it that we are wasting time in some of the fields that we are in? So you advise somebody to stop, or they should take a U-turn?
Direct answer to that question, I can say 2 things. You get 2 options. Should you stop or should you continue and finish and then you come back? So this is going to be dependent on you. So just like I mentioned earlier, everybody has a capacity that they can take. I, for one, the reason why I pursued, so I actually pursued 2 degrees at the same time, attending 2 classes at the same time, and up and down writing exams at the same time, and it was crazy challenging. And one thing was that during the time in which I was doing programs at the same time, I had the best of results within that time. So I finished MS at some point, and I was focusing on job and engineering. And guess what? And that is because of me. We have some people who are able to handle both. They handle both. I know someone who handles TV even, and that was my inspiration. So know that I can be able to handle both. So the idea is, what do you want? Based on hype and everything, people find themselves doing a lot of things that will not help them. Will this thing help you? If it does not help you, irrespective of the fact that your classmates are there or anybody or what your parents are saying, it will not help you. Then you go, you stop, and you go for what you actually want to do. So I'll ask you the question again. Do you see the possibility of you using both of these things? Both of these? If you're in a different field, can you use both of these to achieve that which you want to achieve? You need to start by defining the thing that you want to achieve. If it cannot help you, then you stop, then you switch. The best time to make that switch was like yesterday. So the earlier you do it, the better for you. That is for a purpose-driven, less hype follower. You just follow people, but you're doing that which was very helpful. Thank you.
Session began. I had about 7 questions, but because we were able to cover a lot, I've narrowed them down to 1. Now, this question is directed to Mr. Sherlock. At some point, you mentioned that your initial objective was to pay your bills. Then you made mention of the fact that you were going to be ignoring the hype and focus on what you are supposed to do as a software engineer. Then he said, throughout this journey, you lost money a couple of times. Now, my question is, apart from the general rules we know that software engineers are supposed to accomplish, what do you finally conclude on that you're going to be doing as a software engineer? And even after you kept losing money, which was supposed to be used to pay your bills, why did you keep going? Before I conclude, I'll call my question to Yanni and the PNC Nursing Driver and Digital Marketer. Thank you.
What I've been doing throughout my career, I am literally an example of, you stumble your way into success. I did not set out with a plan. For those who know me, I was just they will say passionate, but more people call it anarchist. It's chaos everywhere, and was a very chaotic software engineer. So, how it went from being, okay, let me pay my bills, to me deciding this is what I want to do. The answer to that, the question itself assumes that I've decided what I want to do. I have not. See now, okay, so as I was growing up, my father wanted me to be a lawyer. And till this day, he asked me what I want to do when I grow up. I'll say I want to be a lawyer. Because I've just been writing code, I forgot to sit back and think, what is my career? Yeah, so I've not been thinking about it, like what is my career. But the one thing I can say that went from paying my bills to thinking what would I like to do in 3 years is actually what I just said now is the answer. I thought, okay, what would I like to do? I think what I like to do. And who here has used Signal? Signal is in there. Oh my God, my Jesus. Let's see. What's that? Yeah, alright. So, how many people here, just show hands very quickly, know how WhatsApp is? Now, you see the same thing here. That was the thing about me. I have been using something like WhatsApp, and sometimes I will be able to, I don't know how it does the encryption. Who does the encryption? With the things people use, your banking and everything that is secure, they tell you, oh, this thing is secure. Okay, but who does the security? What does that this thing is secure? We just use them because they say so, right? And they give you code, maybe it's code. How do you go into code and say, okay, this one is secure code actually? And those things, they bother me because I was like, I like to be a programmer, but I want to be a programmer that keeps using things made by everyone else. Yes, only they know how it works, and all I do is just plug and play, plug and play, plug and play. So I decided to just take a look under the hood. It's like, okay, I'll start one problem at a time. How does WhatsApp encryption work? And then I realized it works what they call the signal protocol. Oh, very nice. How does the signal protocol work? And you realize there has something called forward secrecy. Oh, all right, let's go take a look at that. That has been my life. And as you keep looking under the hood, you keep seeing how you like to use them. For example, when I got acquainted with the signal protocol, I then told my team, I was like, okay, folks, for my friends who I was with at that time, given what I understand about this protocol, we can implement this on SMS. And they were like, bro, keep the beat down for 2 seconds. And yeah, and I was like, all right, no problem, but watch me. And over the span of the weekend, I had a prototype of how you can use the signal protocol over something like SMS. And I knew a lot of people that are interested in those kind of problems. So you reach out, like, here's an example of something I've done. What do you think we can scale this? Please give me your money. And yeah, sure. Half the money you truly can scale this. And you scale it and you go back to them and you're like, see, I think they now give me more money. We can make this actually talk online. They are like, yeah, half more money and you go make it talk online. And you go back again and say, give me more money. So that has been my career. What I do now is just a complete focus on the hard problems itself. The things we do in our office is literally a think tank where I have, I think some of the folks are here. A group of people just sitting around, we literally put a whiteboard and we'll be like, oh, how can you send a WhatsApp message, send and receive WhatsApp message through SMS if you have no internet connection? And then we solve it and yeah, oh, actually I'm actually telling people about solved it and you can actually, what we're doing, you can actually do bi-directional communication. For WhatsApp, over SMS itself, don't worry about the internet or when the government shuts down the internet. So, to answer your question, it has just been a spiral of curiosity, continuation of curiosity, using the knowledge I have to implement something, and then reaching out to people who might like it and like, give me some money, let me keep doing what we do best. And it works so far. So, see, how to let it stay. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, how are we doing? How's the event so far? Yeah. Okay, before I start, how many, let me introduce myself. So I'm Lewis, some of you know me, some of you don't know me, but I'm a product designer and I've been here for a while. So I'm going to be talking, it's more of a workshop, it's kind of like a hybrid, so if you want to follow along, perhaps you can. There is a hybrid of a workshop that's talk, but I don't even know what I'm doing, but obviously. So I'm going to be talking about kind of like the relationship between a designer and a developer. So how many of us here are designers? Alright, like 10%. And how many people are developers? Like a lot more there. How many? Alright, so designing and developing? Like, as a designer, how do you make sure that what you're actually spending all of your hard work doing is properly translated into the product that you're building? And as a developer, how do you make sure that you remain faithful to the design, right? So it's usually this disconnect because the designer was spending like so much time, so much effort designing, doing something, like putting all the fancy effects, and the final output for the deck is usually less than ideal. Yeah, everything. So I want to talk about myself, techniques, and let's say my process is not to what we feel, right? So it's going to be like a hybrid of a talk slash workshop and stuff. So I'm just going to open my computer. if you copy out the same text code and put it in 10 different places, and then the designer changes the color, that means you have to go and rotate it 10 different times. But if you use the system, we can be able to streamline the process. So you change once and change are propagated everywhere. So if you take an example. So usually, when you're doing a startup with something like this, you try to define style or guide, right? That you're going to use throughout the design. And you can have like your colors and you can have your shape, colors and everything. But this is not enough. So I'm going to talk about tokens in design system. So you can think of. So if you want to utilize this color, are you going to copy the text code and start pasting? No, you shouldn't do that. You should try to utilize what we call tokens in your design. So for example, what are colors? So as you can see, we have created variables within Figma where we define our colors, right? So the colors are in, let's say, layers or systems. So at the base layer, we have the raw value, which is the text code, and then one level above that, we have a semantic value for the text. So for example, you can have black, 0, which represents black, right? And then one layer above that, you can define that black as a text color, right? And then throughout your design, instead of using 0, you're going to be using your text color. So if we take a look at here's an example where alright. So we define a purple color and we have like the different shades of it from light to dark, right? We can't use this directly. So what we do, we create schemes. So what are we saying? We are saying that our primary color should be this color, and our secondary color should be this color, and our background should be this color. So usually these schemes are based from the system you are building for. So if you are designing for Android, we have the Android material theory design library. The same as we have the Microsoft design library. And as a designer, you should be able to understand the language of this platform, the design language of this platform. Here's an example. So for example, this is a material system. So you should be able to understand how does this system use its colors and what roles do the colors play, right? If you're designing for Android. And for example, they define their colors or their tones starting from the base level as we discussed. Start from the top value, which is the text code, and then go up to global token, which can be black, and then you go up to the semantic value. So what does that text code mean in the more understandable sense? So you move from having a raw 0 text code to something like a text color, for example. So that is relatively easier to work with it. Now, you can define everything as text, or you can define all your text in your text color and everything related. Now, if you go to the base layer and you change that, it will automatically propagate to everything else. So, and now I want to also talk about like from the developer's perspective, like how should the developer handle this, or how should the designer pass it off to a developer, right? So it is usually good that as a developer you should understand the system you're building for. I remember giving the example about having raw values in your code, and it's not such a very good idea because once it changes, you have to go and change everywhere. But if you implement this sort of system, you can prevent that. And I want to look at an example how we can do this. I'm going to take like an example, for example. So we have all of this in Figma. Thank you. So we have all of this in Figma, which can be quite overwhelming, but how do you translate all of this now as code? So I'm going to focus on our subject here. I know that a lot of people, okay, Figma has built tools to make it slightly easier, and then most of them are behind the page, like the pro version or the paywall, right? So I'm going to try to focus on how you can do it without those tools. So we have these schemes. These schemes are based off the material-based system. And these color rows, they have their defined uses. Like the primary color is supposed to be a primary color. Non-primary basically means that any object that is going to be sitting on top of the primary, this is the color that is have. And now, how do we come up with this rule? These rules they are based off the design system for the platform that we're building on. For example, we're building for material payments. And if you spend some time going through the system, you understand how these rules, why these rules are so, and how they will play about. So I want to show you some examples. So here's an example of application, right? The first thing that I do, now this is my workflow, it might not be the best workflow or what is perfect, but it kind of works for me, right? So I'm going to share that. Perhaps if you have alternatives there, that's good. So the first thing I usually do is I try to define my constant variables. So this is what my color. Oh yeah, this is a file. Okay, so what am I color? Okay, this is my color. So for each color, I define it as a variable, like same color, right? So this is like my base here, my ground, like the base thing. So this is going to be the source of truth for every of this color that I use. So anytime that I want to change something, I can take it here and connect it throughout. So after this, like the next layer of this is to define your key. So for example, this pattern uses the material training system, and as you can see, I've defined the dark key. And I've defined the light key, right? So what I do is here, I can now set throughout the entire application for example, as you can see, I define both the light page and the dark page. So I specify what colors should be used in the light page and what colors should be used in the dark page. And this makes it a lot easier to implement theming and application, for example. Imagine that for each, let's take an example. Anywhere that you want to, that you put in a color, you have to put an if function and say if it's light or use this color, if it's dark, use that color. Now, imagine that you're really very light out, because that is going to be very, very time consuming and prone to error, right? Because I'm sure that you've seen some of those applications that change to dark mode and things are still light, change to light and things are still dark. So we have to do this to prevent that. So it's all about creating like the foundation for the design, so that way it can be easily translated throughout the entire application. So we define our color scheme, and we define the primary color code. So as you can see, we no longer use the text code. The text code NFPN, this is the very bottom layer of the application, and the text code NFPN. Now what happens is that if I change this to any other color, it's going to propagate throughout the entire application without me manually changing it, because I have done the work to make sure that the foundation is right. So this is, for example, this is like a good example of why I need a little bit of structure in our design.
Hello. Please, how many people are questions? Please, I need people to follow. If you don't know, design is not only for designers, it's for everybody. Everybody's presenting design. It's the first thing your customer will see when they get to your application. Please, I want you to please follow. Then finish your probably get one or two things. You might have to relay that what is message to your designers as a developer. You might use this knowledge at one point in time. Please, let's follow up. Thank you.
Anyway, thank you. So, alright, so we define our P, and now we're going to insert the P into our application. So after we prepare our team for we are going to insert like this is the base of our application. Is this too technical? Is it too technical? Is too technical? Sorry. Sorry for making it technical. But basically, what I'm trying to say is that you need some structure. And as a designer, you need to enforce this structure into your application, right? And here, just taking the example of how you can handle colors. But the design system is a lot more. You find your typography in your design, and you translate that into your code, right? Once you do it properly, it should propagate throughout, because this platform, which consider like this, very, very, very important as both a designer and a developer to understand the platform that you're building for. So I showed you the example of the material payment that is for building Android application. Like you want to build an Android application that looks like an Android application, that behaves like an Android application, that fits into the Android application environment, for example. You need to understand how the system works. It's same for Windows. If you want to do a Windows application, you need to understand the design system. If you want to do an iOS application, the same thing, similar thing with web. So, this, having this deep, not just surface knowledge, but an intrinsic understanding of why certain things are the way they are, is going to be very helpful for both the designer and the developer. So it's something that I'm going to encourage every dev to know, to learn about, especially for the platform you're building for. You need to know why certain decisions were made, why this color is used for this, what are the contrast rules, what are the rules for everything and everything. And once you have that intrinsic understanding, it's going to be a lot easier to translate a designer's design into your code in a way that is not going to make you fight with the designer. And same thing goes for the designer. As a designer, you have to design with structure, right? Make sure that you use a system that will be easier for your developers to replicate and implement. So don't use stray colors in your design. The same as the developers use stray colors in their code. Yeah, so about tokens, like these tokens are necessary that you do for your application traffic. Oh, and then one thing that I also did not mention was the use of components, right? So we don't just end at defining colors and typography. We can go further into defining components that can be used. And these design systems typically have a whole list of components that you can also use as a designer. If you want to create a similar structure, you can design your custom system for your application use case depending on what they need. Yeah, so this is what we spoke about. You shouldn't see hex code, you should see meaningful tokens. You shouldn't see numbers, but you should see current color, surface color, and all that kind of stuff. So, I could go further into the development. It's a little bit too technical, and my apologies.